10,050 Cielo Drive. In Spanish, the word means heaven. The address sits at the end of a private cul-de-sac above Benedict Canyon, 3.5 acres of flat land in the Santa Monica foothills, with a view that runs from Beverly Hills to the Pacific. For a brief stretch of the 20th century, this was one of the most desirable plots of ground in the United States. Today, mail addressed to 10,050 Cielo Drive is returned to sender. The number does not exist. The house that stood here was demolished. The street number was retired. The land itself was renamed. Some addresses become famous. This one had to be erased. Before the house, there was the canyon. Benedict Canyon runs north from Sunset Boulevard into the Santa Monica Mountains. In the 1920s and 1930s, it was wilderness with switchback roads. Coyotes still hunted along the ridgelines. The land that would become 10,050 Cielo Drive belonged to a tract once recorded as the Bedrock Properties, a parcel of canyon-top earth that had passed through a series of speculative owners during the Los Angeles real estate booms of the early 20th century. In November of 1941, the parcel changed hands again. A French actress named Michèle Morgan, then under contract to RKO Radio Pictures and recently arrived in Hollywood after fleeing the German occupation of France, purchased the land from J.F. Wadkins Company. According to a notice published in the Los Angeles Times on November 23, 1941, the total investment, including the planned construction of a swimming pool and a guest cottage, came to $32,000. The architect was an open question. Even then, the Wadkins firm built the house. The Los Angeles Department of Building and Safety Records list Arthur W. Hawes as the architect of record. Several published sources, however, credit a different name: Robert Byrd, a Los Angeles architect known for indoor-outdoor designs in the canyons. The discrepancy has never been formally resolved. What is undisputed is the house itself. It was a 3,200-square-foot single-story residence built in the style of an early 19th century French farmhouse. Stone fireplaces, beamed ceilings, paned casement windows, a loft above the living room, reached by a wooden ladder, a 2,000-square-foot guest house, a swimming pool, pine trees and flowering cherry, a private driveway, gated at the road, opening onto a paved motor court. The main house faced east. The guest house sat behind it, on a small rise. A nearly identical structure was built at the same time, on the plateau immediately below. That house carried the address 10,048 Cielo Drive, and it was sometimes referred to as the Twin House. Michèle Morgan did not stay long. By the end of the Second World War, she had returned to France. In 1944, the property was sold to Dr. Hartley Dewey and his wife Louise. The Deweys converted the original barbecue shelter into a guest cottage and added a dressing room to the pool. In 1946, they rented the main house to the silent film actress Lillian Gish, who lived there with her mother while filming Duel in the Sun. In the early 1960s, the property was acquired by Rudolph Altobelli, a talent manager who represented figures across the music and film industries. Altobelli paid roughly $86,000. He rarely lived in the main house. Instead, he treated it as a high-end rental for clients and friends in the entertainment industry. The list of tenants over the next several years reads like a who's who of mid-century Hollywood. Cary Grant and Diane Cannon spent part of their honeymoon there in 1965. Henry Fonda lived there. So did the actress Samantha Eggar, the singer Mark Lindsay of Paul Revere and the Raiders, and a young Olivia Hussey. By the late 1960s, the house had a settled identity. It was a sanctuary, a discreet, private retreat at the end of a quiet road, occupied by people who could afford privacy and demanded it. Then came 1966. Altobelli rented the property to a young record producer named Terry Melcher, the son of Doris Day. Melcher moved in with his girlfriend, the actress Candice Bergen. Bergen later described the house as a fairy tale place set among pine trees and rose-covered fences, far from the real world. That description would not survive the decade. In January 1969, Terry Melcher moved out of 10,050 Cielo Drive and relocated to his mother's beach house in Malibu. The next month, in February of 1969, Rudolph Altobelli signed a new lease. The tenants were the Polish-French film director Roman Polanski and his wife, the American actress Sharon Tate. Tate was 26 years old. She had recently appeared in the film Valley of the Dolls. She was 3 months pregnant. For the first half of 1969, the house at the end of Cielo Drive functioned as a center of young Hollywood social life. Polanski was finishing pre-production on a new film. Tate was preparing for the birth of her first child. Their friends came and went. The hairdresser, Jay Sebring, who had been Tate's boyfriend before her marriage, remained close to the family. The Polish writer, Wojciech Frykowski, and his girlfriend Abigail Folger, an heiress to the Folger coffee fortune, were frequent guests. By the summer, Frykowski and Folger were effectively living on the property. The house had a particular geography that mattered. The driveway climbed from Cielo Drive to a steel gate, equipped with an electric intercom. Beyond the gate, the drive curved past a small caretaker's bungalow and continued to the main house. The bungalow was occupied by William Garretson, a 19-year-old hired by Altobelli to maintain the grounds. The main house and the guest cottage were separated from the road by hundreds of feet of driveway and dense canyon vegetation. From the street, you could not see the house. From the house, you could not see the street. The property was acoustically and visually isolated. That isolation had been its selling point for 30 years. In August of 1969, it became something else. In late March of 1969, while the Polanskis were away, an unfamiliar man arrived at the gate, asking for Terry Melcher. According to Altobelli's later trial testimony, he informed the visitor that Melcher had moved out months earlier. The visitor was Charles Manson. He had come looking for the man who had once auditioned him for a record contract and declined to sign him. Sharon Tate, briefly home, reportedly saw Manson on the property that day. Manson saw her, he left. What happened over the next 4 months has been documented across thousands of pages of trial transcripts, police reports, and books. Most prominently, the prosecutor Vincent Bugliosi's account, Helter Skelter. The narrow facts can be stated plainly. On the night of August 8, 1969, Roman Polanski was in London, working on a film. Sharon Tate was at the house, 8.5 months pregnant. With her were Sebring, Frykowski, and Folger. The music producer Quincy Jones had been invited to dinner that evening. He forgot. The decision likely saved his life. At approximately midnight, 4 members of Charles Manson's commune at Spahn Ranch arrived at the foot of the Cielo Drive driveway in a 1959 Ford. Their names were Charles Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Linda Kasabian. Watson was 23, Atkins was 21, Krenwinkel was 21, Kasabian was 20. Watson climbed a telephone pole at the property line and cut the phone wires. The 4 parked the car below the gate. Watson scaled the embankment beside the gate. The others followed. They walked up the driveway in the dark. The first encounter happened at the bottom of the property. An 18-year-old named Stephen Porrant had been visiting William Garretson at the caretaker's bungalow and was driving back down the driveway in a white Rambler. Watson stopped the vehicle. He ordered Parent to roll down the window. He shot him 4 times at close range with a .22 caliber revolver. 2 of the wounds were to the head. Parent died inside the car. Watson, Atkins, and Krenwinkel left Kasabian as a lookout near the parked Ford. The 3 intruders entered the main house through an unlocked or partially open side window. Inside, in the living room, were the 4 occupants. Over the next half hour, all 4 were killed. Frykowski was attacked first. Folger was pursued onto the back lawn. Sebring was shot and stabbed in the living room. Sharon Tate was the last to die. Before leaving, one of the intruders, by trial evidence, Susan Atkins, used a towel soaked in Tate's blood to write a single word on the front door of the house. The word was pig. William Garretson, in the guest house several hundred feet away, heard nothing definitive. The canyon walls and the distance between buildings absorbed the sound. The first emergency call did not come until just after 8 the following morning, when the housekeeper, Winifred Chapman, arrived for work, walked up the driveway, and saw the bodies through the front windows. By the end of August 9th, 1969, the address had been printed on the front pages of every major American newspaper. The writer Joan Didion, who lived nearby, would later observe that for many people in Los Angeles, the 1960s effectively ended on the day word of the murders moved through the city. The tension, she wrote, broke that day. The paranoia was fulfilled. The house did not end with the murders. It survived them, and what happened over the next 2.5 decades is, in some ways, stranger than what came before. 3 weeks after the killings, Rudolph Altobelli moved into the main residence himself. He gave up his Malibu beach house and took up daily occupancy of 10,050 Cielo Drive. He stayed for nearly 20 years. In a later interview with ABC's 2020, he described feeling at the property, safe and surrounded by beauty. He also pursued substantial legal action against Roman Polanski. According to court records, Altobelli sued Polanski for $198,000 in unpaid rent. He filed a separate claim for $650,000 against Life magazine after the publication ran photographs of Polanski standing beside the blood-stained front door. He even sued Sharon Tate's estate for emotional distress. He was awarded $4,350. The address became, almost immediately, a stop on a darker version of the Hollywood tour. The tour buses came up Cielo Drive. People photographed the gate. Some climbed it. The street was eventually closed to non-residents. In 1988, Altobelli sold the property. The buyer was a real estate investor named John Prell, who paid $1.5 million. Prell did not move in. He intended the house as an investment. In 1992, he sold it again, this time to another real estate investor, Alvin Weintraub. By then, the original house had stood for half a century and had not been substantially renovated since the 1960s. In 1992, while Weintraub considered what to do with his new asset, the house found its final tenant. His name was Trent Reznor. He was the founder and only permanent member of the industrial rock band 9 Inch Nails. He had recently signed a recording deal with Interscope Records and was looking for a Los Angeles property in which to build a private studio for his second album. He toured 15 houses in a single day. He chose 10,050 Cielo Drive. Reznor has stated in multiple interviews, including a 1994 conversation with Entertainment Weekly, that he did not initially recognize the address. Soon after he moved in, a friend identified the place from photographs in a copy of Helter Skelter. Reznor confirmed the match by recognizing the loft ladder he had climbed earlier that day. He stayed anyway. He converted the main house into a working studio. He named it Le Pig in deliberate reference to the word written on the front door in 1969. Over 18 months, between 1992 and 1993, Reznor recorded most of the 9 Inch Nails album, The Downward Spiral, inside the house. Portions of the EP Broken were recorded there as well. The music video for the song Gave Up was filmed inside the living room. A young singer named Brian Warner, performing under the stage name Marilyn Manson, recorded portions of his debut album, Portrait of an American Family, at the in-house studio during the same period. The Downward Spiral, released in March of 1994, became one of the most commercially successful and culturally divisive records of the decade. It was recorded inside the house where, 25 years earlier, Sharon Tate had been killed. The turn, when it came, was sudden. In a 1997 interview with Rolling Stone, Reznor described the moment he reconsidered. He had a chance encounter with Sharon Tate's younger sister, Deborah Tate. According to Reznor's own account, she asked him directly whether he was exploiting her sister's death by living in her house. He said the question stayed with him. He said he did not have a good answer. He said he had been treating something real as if it were folklore. Reznor moved out of the house in December of 1993. In a later interview, he explained that there had simply been too much history in the place for him to continue working there. The remainder of the Downward Spiral was completed at the Record Plant, a conventional studio in Hollywood. When he left, he took something with him. He removed the front door of the house, the same door on which the word pig had been written in 1969, and installed it at his new recording studio in New Orleans, which he called Nothing Studios. The door later passed through several hands. In September of 2023, it was sold at auction by Julian's Auctions for $127,000 to an undisclosed buyer. By the time Reznor left in December of 1993, the owner of the property had already made a decision about what would come next. There would be no further tenants. There would be no further history. Alvin Weintraub did not preserve the house. He demolished it. The bulldozers arrived in early 1994, a few weeks after Reznor's exit. Both structures came down. The main residence, the guest house, the garage. The pool was filled in. The gardens were cleared. The arbor was removed. The original gate was replaced. According to Weintraub's later statements to Los Angeles magazine, the demolition was deliberate and total. He told the magazine in 1998 that the work had been carried out at great pains, that there was no house, no dirt, and no blade of grass on the property remotely connected to Sharon Tate. The claim was almost true. 2 physical artifacts of the original property survived the demolition. A single pine tree, located between the position of the old house and the old pool, was preserved, and 2 wooden posts that had once supported a garden arbor remained standing on the new lot. Everything else was gone. Construction on a replacement structure began in 1994. By 1996, a new building stood on the site. Weintraub called it Villa Bella. It bore no architectural resemblance to the home it replaced. The original was a 3,200-square-foot French country farmhouse. The replacement was a Mediterranean-style mansion of approximately 18,000 square feet. Where the original had been low and rustic, the replacement was tall, formal, and white-walled. Then Weintraub did something that, in modern American real estate, is unusual. He petitioned for, and obtained, a change to the property's street address. 10,050 Cielo Drive ceased to exist as a postal designation. The new structure was assigned the number 10,066 Cielo Drive. The previous number was retired. Mapping services updated their records. GPS systems followed. To this day, attempting to navigate to 10,050 Cielo Drive will direct a driver to a number that no longer corresponds to any building. The address itself was, in administrative terms, deleted. Weintraub listed Villa Bella for sale in 1998. The market response was muted. The property remained on and off the listings for several years. In 2000, Villa Bella found a buyer. The new owner was Jeff Franklin, the television producer who had created the situation comedy Full House. According to the Wall Street Journal, Franklin paid approximately $6.33 million for the property. In an unfinished state, he hired the Canadian-American architect Richard Landry to redesign and complete the residence. The work took years. Franklin moved in around 2007. By the time Franklin took occupancy, Villa Bella had been substantially expanded again. The final structure, recorded at 21,000 square feet on a 3.6-acre lot, contained 9 bedrooms, 18 bathrooms, a 16-car subterranean garage, a screening room, a salon, a wine cellar, a 75-yard swimming pool with 3 waterfalls, multiple aquariums, and a private grotto. Franklin told the Wall Street Journal that the connection to the 1969 murders was, in his view, ancient history and had no bearing on his life. In January of 2022, Franklin listed the property for sale at $85 million. The market disagreed. The asking price was reduced to $70 million in April, then $60 million in September, then $49.5 million in October of 2023. As of recent listings, the property remains on the market in the high $40 million range. The land itself, 3.5 acres of flat earth at the top of Benedict Canyon, retains the qualities that made Michèle Morgan choose it in 1941. The view is the same. The privacy is the same. The pine trees, what remains of them, are descendants of the originals. But the address is different. The architecture is different. The shape of the buildings is different. Even the proportions of the lot have shifted slightly, with new walls and motor courts. A visitor to the cul-de-sac today will find a discreet wooden gate, a security camera, and an intercom. Beyond it, an Andalusian-style mansion. There is no plaque, no marker, no indication that anything ever stood on this land before 1996. There is a question that haunts every forensic biography of an address. It is the question Alvin Weintraub answered in 1998 when he told Los Angeles magazine that he had removed every blade of grass connected to Sharon Tate. It is the question Jeff Franklin answered when he called the murders ancient history. It is the question the United States Postal Service answered when it accepted the retirement of a street number. The question is whether a place can be erased. The physical evidence at 10,050 Cielo Drive suggests it can. The house is gone. The pool is gone. The gate is gone. The driveway has been repaved. The number has been replaced. By every measurable standard of property law, surveying, and municipal record-keeping, the address the Manson family targeted in August 1969 no longer exists, and yet the land has remained on the market for 4 years. More than $35 million has been cut from the asking price. Tour buses still pass the cul-de-sac. Documentaries still print the original address. Mail still arrives for a number the city itself erased and is returned to senders who often do not understand why. The earth beneath the new house is the same earth. The view is the same view. And the canyon still absorbs sound the way it did on an August night in 1969. You can demolish a house. You can change a number. You can bury a foundation beneath 18,000 square feet of new concrete. But the land remembers anyway. If stories like this interest you, subscribe to Praedion. Every address leaves a record. Next time on Praedion, a building in Lower Manhattan that housed 3 governments, 2 banks, and one of the largest financial frauds of the 20th century. The address never changed. Only what lived inside it did.